Have you ever had a conversation with someone where you simply couldn't connect? It was like your brains were running two different operating systems. You were on Android and they were on iOS, and no matter what you did, you couldn't meet in the middle. Chances are your disc personalities were not aligned. The DISC system is often referred to as the DISC profile, DISC assessment, DISC personality system. Doesn't matter, it's all basically the same thing. I simply refer to it as DISC. So what is it? It's a system that allows you to characterize people's personalities based on two primary metrics: how outgoing they are and how task-oriented they are. And with those two being the only criteria, it's a simple yet highly effective system that's going to help you communicate much better with everybody. And I'm going to be using this video series to teach you how to identify each DISC personality, how they differ from each other, and how to communicate with them. So let's start with the basics. There are four quadrants of DISC: the D, the I, the S, and the C. And together they comprise the entire DISC system. As I said earlier, there are two primary metrics that are used to determine where somebody fits on the DISC profile. So to begin with, I want to go over first the horizontal distinction. People on the left are going to be more task-oriented versus people on the right, they're going to be more people-oriented. When you're more task-oriented, you want to get things done. You're not as worried about having a great experience with other people. Versus if you're an I or an S on the right side, you care a lot more about establishing strong human connection and having those experiences than you do about getting things done. The second metric runs vertically. This means that the upper personalities are different than the lower personalities. And the people on the top, the D and the I, are very outgoing, meaning that they want to go out and they want to make things happen, and they're very comfortable in social situations. They don't feel as inhibited. The people on the bottom, which are going to be the S and the C, are more reserved. They typically take longer to warm up to you, and they might not try things right away. They limit themselves to things that feel more comfortable, and they're not going to put themselves into more weird and uncomfortable situation. So now that we have a basic understanding of what DISC is and how the different personalities are distributed, why should you care? Why do you need to learn DISC? Well, if you're a real estate agent, a salesperson, or just about anybody in the world, you want to be able to communicate effectively with people so that you don't miss opportunities and that you can get along with just about anyone. As a real estate agent in particular, it's critical that you learn the DISC system, because if you are not communicating with your clients properly, the way that they want to be communicated to, you're going to be losing those opportunities. You might go to a listing presentation, which you might lose just because they interviewed another agent that was more closely aligned with their DISC profile. The distribution of the personalities in the world are not exactly equal, but let's assume that roughly 25% of the people out there are the same DISC as you. This means that those are people you're going to be able to chat with naturally, and you're going to get along really well. But this also means that 75% of the people out there are not people that you are easily going to be able to communicate with. And by mastering DISC, you can make sure you're effective with 100% of the people out there. You want to make sure that you have access to the entire pie, not just a small slice of it. Your first goal should be to learn to identify where somebody is on the DISC profile after having a quick conversation with them. And your second goal is going to be to learn how to adapt to their DISC, no matter who they are and no matter who you are. So make sure to watch my video series to learn about each individual DISC personality, how to identify them, and how to talk with them, and it's going to help you improve your sales career.